Hey, Rolling 20 fans, this is G, and I'm here to tell you today about a new sponsor for our show, Casey's Irish Pub. This is an honest-to-God Boston or Chicago-style Irish pub located in downtown Los Angeles. They serve cooked food, 11 kinds of beer, and 49 different Irish whiskeys from 3 different distilleries. What does that mean? That means if you're looking for a good drink during a Los Angeles convention, you don't have to go far. If you're headed to Los Angeles for E3, Kamikaze, Anime Expo, the Los Angeles Car Show, or one of the hundreds of events happening near the Staples Center, then a good meal and a glass of Guinness is just a short walk away. Jeremy, the loud guy who won't shut up when we do our own podcast, he actually ate there during the last Anime Expo, and he said this. Forgive me if I don't sound like the guy. I went to Casey's Pub looking for a place to bring people for a good night of food and found it when I was driving people on my way back to the Los Angeles Convention Center. We went back and I had the best steak pot pie in my life down there. My wife had a good whiskey to sip, and 8 of us had fun talking and eating in a place that looked like it belonged in a movie. Casey's just a couple of blocks from the Westin Bonaventure. That means it's close to one of Anime Expo's own shuttle stops. So do yourself a favor, and don't stock up on bad beer and try to mix something sitting at the desk of your hotel room. Ride the elevator, get off at the Bonaventure, and walk to Casey's Irish Pub to get some drinks by their bartenders. Make some new memories and have some fun. We want to see you there.
Hello everybody, this is Anthony Beyonders from Mission Start Podcast, and we are back with another episode of the Conover. This week, we're talking about Anime Expo, and all things leading up to it. This is the pregame to what many things to come and happen. But joining us tonight, we got Alex, Jeremy,
Hey.
and Rin.
Hello.
And we're all going to talk about what's going to be going on, what events and panels we're going to check out, and just general, just like what possible advice we can possibly give for anybody who's new and going to AX. So, yeah, guys. So Anime Expo is around the corner. It is literally about a week away.
Crunch kind of intensifies.
Yeah. So.
Says you.
Crying.
So my question is, what exactly is the first thing on your list to do at AX?
Besides bags pickup?
Get to my hotel.
The question is becoming is, now for those of you who didn't saw what happened last year, it might have been the year prior to that. My memory has been foggy, but last year at Anime Expo, like, didn't the power go out for registration for Day Zero? Or
Yes, it did.
I don't know if it was the power. I don't think the power went out. I think their
Or-
system broke
no,
down.
It was an air gag problem or something like that.
yeah, and one of our people that was down there that was waiting for his badge, Brendan, he tried to be in that line for a very, very long time. I think it was like, what, 5 hours? I think he tried to...
About there.
Yeah, and it
He
looked
was-
good several blocks.
He was upset.
Mm-hmm. And he
Many
wasn't...
people were.
Yeah, and he wasn't the only one. Many other people were pretty upset. And the question...
According to what I know, there were double digits fainting spells and heat problems.
Yeah, so this definitely created a problem last year. And now, carry us over to this year. Now, there's no guarantee that this will happen again, but it could. Which
Actually, they have guaranteed that they are going to have tents out.
Okay, that's a good thing.
However, that promise has been heard before.
That's true. Yeah.
You know, they've also said they're going to expand the amount of registration stations, which usually to them means we've added 2.
Right.
Let's be honest, it's about
Yeah, well, 1.5.
one-ish.
Yeah. So as far as like how that's gonna roll out, we don't know for sure. But if anything, if it's any indication, if what happened last year ends up happening again this year, then you'll have a lot of angry people yet again. So we'll have to wait and see for sure. But yes, aside from the badge pickup, that obviously the first thing to do. But like, what's on your plate, guys? What are some of the things you're planning to go see, cover? Just kind of what are you looking at?
I'm unsure. I've read their current plan as to how they have everything spread out, and I don't know. It's hard for me to say which sections are going to carry over, which ones aren't, which parts of the plan are going to be just really bizarre. The only real plan I got is to attend the 30th anniversary Robotech panel. That's it.
I see. The thing that's interesting to me, and I see this, the events just kind of pop up more and more as we get closer to Anime Expo. Is it me, or like there's been more special guests that have been announced for this convention than it has been prior?
Depends on your definition of special.
Good point.
Yeah, I guess. What do you mean, like from out of the country or what?
I
I
mean,
think there's more guests as far as special. Not really.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Definitely being a lot of guests.
the biggest statement I think is the cosplaying corgi. That the hell, man.
I saw that.
I mean, ever since they've had the whole cosplay guest thing, it's been getting more and more a bit. Don't want to say, I don't want to use the word obnoxious here, but it's been becoming. They're trying to clearly make it more and more of an appeal for cosplayers to get, or like cosplayers and cosplay fans to hop on the AX train.
See, I'm of the other mind. Not that they're trying to get more cosplayers to come, just by the... I think it's more like a lot more people are refusing to be guests for this convention. So they're going to...
Oh
I
yeah,
don't want to
well,
say the
there's
bottom of the barrel. They're just going towards this direction.
like East Coast conventions.
No, not even East Coast conventions. It's just there are other... I mean, Fanime had more actual guests, non-cosplay guests than this.
Oh yeah.
As far as ratio, I should say, ratio of overall guests.
Yeah.
They actually had more industry and trade people, I don't know of that many cosplay guests at Anime Los Angeles. I don't know of that many cosplay guests at... there are no cosplay guests at Comic-Con or WonderCon, as far as I know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like for... I just put the link in terms of like what the entire guest lineup is. But yeah, in terms of like Comic-Con and WonderCon and just comic groups in general, like they don't have particularly a cosplay guest. Like it's not something that they're interested into because it's something is different interest for different conventions. But I just looked through the website real quick for the guests for Anime Expo. There are 71 guests that are coming to Anime Expo, consisting of voice actors, personalities, musicians, cosplayers, artists, voice actors. Yeah, pretty much that. Maybe think a writer in there is somewhere in there too.
Yeah, it was just some script writers and stuff. Script
And, like,
writers, manga writers.
3 notable hentai artists.
Yeah. Yeah.
I honestly think compared to some of the cosplay guests that they've announced, the Faku panel is a hell of a lot more, I don't know, big. Like it's a much more interesting thing.
Seconded.
Which Faku panel are you talking about? The one that they do every year? The which hentai do you must watch panel or?
The
There's a
18
Q&A
plus
panel. There's a
there's an
Q&A
18
panel.
plus one at AX this year.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
there's a Faku Q&A panel Thursday night, day one.
There's not just a panel. There's an entire hentai festival going on over the course of the weekend.
Yeah,
That-
Friday has a hentai worth watching at night, Friday night. There's more Q&A. More. They have a lot.
So the interesting thing about the hentai festival thing is I was very curious to see what that was last year. I remember putting it down as one of the things I would wanted to attend last year, but I think I was unable to. I'm just wondering if you guys if you heard of anything from anybody who went to that event, either from last year's Anime Expo or other conventions.
No. I mean, there's your answer. No.
Okay.
Anybody I knew that was interested either would not approach the convention or were too sick to approach the convention.
I see.
Whoops.
So I'm kind of curious.
Well, I'm sorry to interject. Because of the way registration was handled, Brandon had a combination of blisters and heat blisters during 3 out of 4 days of the weekend, so he was not in a shape to move. Jesse and Steve have outright refused to come to this convention for the past 4 years. And everybody else I knew was spread out, so I had no one to send in any particular direction when I had something to do.
Right, definitely. Yeah, like, sorry, I just ate food. So two things I want to bring up. First, I want to go back to the hentai thing. Like, I have not heard much from anybody about the hentai festival other than that it exists. Like, I haven't heard anybody say, like, it's a great event, definitely check it out and whatnot. I haven't heard of a lick of like anybody saying like anything about the event itself, so I'm not quite sure where to stand. Although I know that it exists and I kind of want to check it out.
To be fair, I think that's just due to the nature of it.
Yeah, I don't think anybody goes to
There's
the
such a
hentai
stigma
festival.
attached to it.
Yeah, they don't come out bragging about what they did, saw, bought.
Unless it's to like a close friend.
Good
Yeah.
point.
Hentai festivals are kind of treated like Fight Club. You don't talk about it.
Rule 1, don't talk about hentai festival. Rule 2, don't talk about hentai festival. Rule 3, bap like crazy.
I thought Rule 3 was hand sanitizer.
No, that's Rule 4.
Oh.
Yeah, that's some rules to live by. Okay, it makes sense. It's just kind of interesting. I've not heard anybody say about this event. But yeah, it's just interesting to hear that. And then there was something else I was kind of talk about too, but I totally forgot. Yeah. Anyways, but yeah, they have a lot of people coming. Although like, it's becoming more of a. I mean, it's becoming more of a thing in other conventions, but I feel like with Anime Expo, like, I feel like they, like you said, Jeremy, like are kind of scratching at the barrel for somebody's guests to come. I mean,
There's multiple theories out there as to what that is, and I'm not going to sit here and spout theories because that's fucking rude.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what this podcast is intended for.
No, but I can say that there's a few things that are running against it right now that a lot of people will say are its big strengths. One of them is the fact that it's going on at the LA Convention Center. It's an aged building. It's not well situated to large conventions. And there's numerous people out there who heard that WonderCon is going to the Los Angeles Convention Center in 2016 on a one-year contract. And now there's multiple individuals that I've seen in my Facebook feed saying, well, okay, now I'm not going. Just because it's going on in Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And there was the other thing that actually, speaking of Anime Expo, in terms of the convention center, like recently they just announced that they are sticking to the same convention center for another
5 years.
5 years?
5 years.
Yeah.
5-year
years.
contract they just signed, which has made their fan Facebook page go crazy, and which has made a lot of other places I know go, oh.
Right. So yeah, like definitely they just had this signed deal, which means that if they're gonna fix anything with the convention or kind of do some construction work, it'll be kind of the same case with anime 1 year or those past couple years where.
Well, that means it'd be an easy opt-out of the contract. However, the management in charge of Anime Expo has been so fervent on LA, I don't think they know what to do when that occurs, or if that occurs, the way the LA city works.
Yeah, and I think, and to kind of compare it to, like, when the construction was happening at Fanime, like, there were some areas of the convention that was walled off because it was under construction, but at the same time, it made it harder for people to get through from point A to point B because of the construction. So, if Anime Expo is planning to do the same thing, and the mass amount of people that go every year, I can only see this not going too well. Sure, they'll direct traffic, but, like, if any indication, last year when I was there, like, I felt like there were so many people at any given time at the convention. I actually had to go back to the hotel room and, like, rest and, like, stay away from the crowds until it died down.
And according to an interview with Mark Perez, the CEO of the SPJA, he expects a 20% increase of attendance this year.
Ugh. I mean, like, I don't understand how. I mean, I understand, like, at the conventions, they get bigger. Like, attendance, of a public convention always gets bigger every year, especially Anime Expo. But, like, at some point though, like you gotta cut at your means. Like
You got to look at your long-term viability, which is,
Yeah.
I don't know if I can say something that the SPJA does. And for people who keep telling me that Los Angeles is a superior convention center to, like, San Diego, considering the fact that Comic-Con is really close to another 3-year extension in San Diego, I don't believe that.
yeah,
Los Angeles is technically bigger, however, San Diego is better suited to large events.
yeah,
Oh, it's for mega, yeah.
definitely. There, and the thing I feel like Anime Expo is like Anime Expo to me feels like the kind of the esports of conventions. In terms of when I mean esports, I mean like they'll bring in like these really like high caliber guests in terms of musicians or voice actors from Japan to be at this convention. Last year was the Kill la Kill cast. They brought over for an entire event, which was cool and awesome. And I'll admit that was pretty cool. But like the one thing that I've noticed this year in terms of some of their events, and this is something that we talked about prior, is that they have been on track for charging money for a lot of these events for people to attend. I mean, like, it's nothing new, but it seems
Yeah,
like
they've done this for a while.
yeah, but it's just it seems growing to almost everything that is interesting. That
Look,
somebody,
it's not new to charge for 1 or 2 events at a convention that are truly special, but Anime Expo's managed to put together a list of about 9 chargeable items.
Something around that, yeah.
Yeah, and I took a calculator to the list, the current list, which doesn't include the Evangelion panel, which has not been given a price or a full schedule yet, and here we sit about a week before the convention. And without that, if you buy everything as cheapest, is $230. However, going to Comic-Con and buying their full badge, their 4.5-day badge that includes preview night, is $220.
yeah, it's crazy. It's nuts because like when I first came to Anime Expo years ago, like I was shocked to see like, wait, you charge for the masquerade? That's the thing you do?
That
Because-
still is weird to me.
I know.
It is. I
So
mean,
was
sure,
the
it's only
only-
like, what, $5 or something, but still, it's a little absurd.
Well, that's the thing, though. They nickel and dime people so that it's like, oh, well, it's only $5. Well, yeah, it's $5 for that. Well, what about if you want to go to another event? Okay, well, that's $10 then. That's 15 here, 5 there. I mean, it just adds up over and over and over again, really.
Oh, no,
And-
if you actually look at this year, we see that concerts, they used to cost maybe like, what, $15 back in 2011, 2012 or so?
About there.
And now they're, what, 60-something dollars to
On
like
the
a
high,
big spot?
on the
That's like
high
a
end.
full-
Actually, I'm sorry, finish your thought.
I was going to say, that's like the same cost if I wanted to go to a concert for, like, I don't know, Nickelback. It wouldn't be great seating, but I could pay $60 and go see Nickelback.
Actually, I have the list here. I have the list of now this doesn't include the badge, but the masquerade can cost you $5 to $15. The maid or butler cafes, each, not total, but each, are $25 to $30. The Cool Japan Festival with the Eon Wakagi Band concert is $50 to $60. The Fate Stay Night special event is $25 to $45. The Momoro Clover Z and Kiss concert is $30 to $55. The Myth Legends of Burlesque and Magic show is $25. The Anamanaguchi plus special guest, unannounced special guest concert is $25 to $55. And the Evangelion 20th anniversary celebration is still yet to be determined.
Oh, here's my question though: the maid butler cafe, are those actually staffers, or are they actually officially part of the company that does Anime Expo, or are they their own separate one?
I think they're their own separate company that Anime Expo leases a certain amount of space to, and I don't know if they have to give them any money to operate or what this has to do with anything.
So
It's just...
as far as them charging, I would remove that from the list, just because a lot of those people, when they charge, what they're doing is their overhead. That's for them. They're not paying out anything at all. It's their overhead for, making costumes, being able to provide food, things like that.
I was going to say that's what I knew a couple of years ago was that was a third-party company. I don't know who's doing it now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so it sucks. I mean, this is ridiculous. I mean, I think the most egregious thing I saw coming out of Anime Expo in terms of like what they're charging for, was the Love Live event. they were charging people to watch a video that
Right, right.
was recorded a year ago to go into a room and watch it on on a projector or on a screen. How much is that going for? The Love Live?
I
I think it was 15.
That's
The worst part is people actually pay for that.
I know, and that's the thing too. Like we can sit,
I mean,
we can sit
yeah.
here and like kind of point out like the amount of money that it will cost you if you want to do all these events. But at the same time, like people are gonna pay for this stuff. Like it's gonna happen. So it's like don't do it, but they're gonna do it anyway. So
I mean, for this one in particular, they claim, I hope they deliver that Sunrise and Bandai Visual staff will be there gauging interest in the franchise, so that maybe potentially they'll do like maybe actually bring the actual group Muse over to America at some point. Who knows?
They're supposed to be giving some stuff away during that too, but for $15, what is it going to be? A fan in a plastic bag?
Well, they're apparently limited print goods. It's basically, I think it was basically the same stuff that people who went to that actual concert in Japan got for going.
I see.
So it's pretty good value in that sense.
Oh, that's if you're a Love Live fan. I am not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. So what was I gonna say? Yeah. So I guess my first advice for anybody who's going to Anime Expo for the first time is that
Bring cash.
bring lots and lots of cash, because we haven't talked about the exhibitor hall or the dealer's hall, because that thing is a massive room. Yeah, and
The entire South Hall area, almost all of it's dedicated just for buying things.
pretty much. And if you manage to get through all the exhibitors through the first whatever roads you have to go through, in the back of the dealer's hall is the artist alley. So if you want to spend more money on awesome art, on original artwork and cool stuff, you gotta go to the back. No offense to the exhibitors at Anime Expo. I'm just saying, like, in my opinion, I feel like the artist people were kind of getting shafted in a way that where, and it is nothing new from before, but I feel like they've always been shafted at Anime Expo in terms of like put in the back.
Yeah, like I feel like they got their own separate room. It will do them better.
I know, right? That would be great.
Well, that comes down to, once again, there's no room for that.
There is room for
There
that
is,
if they would
plenty.
redesign the frickin' dealer's hall, but the way they've got it set up is that all the big companies are up front. They're the ones in your face and get first chance of your money. Then there's the dealers in the middle, that generally not big companies, but a lot of third-party stuff. And then at the back of the room are probably the cheapest and most impulse buys, but you've had a chance to now spend hundreds of dollars before you get to the back of the room.
So real quickly, let me go over the companies that are on the front end of the entrance. Bang Zoom Entertainment, Capcom, Hulu, Com2, just a smiley face in this one, so I want to say Com2 to use. Hobby Japan, Faku, Ninja Division, Churro, Evite.com, Anime Remix, Anime House, Biz Media, NIS America, Aniplex, Arxis, Crunchyroll, Yes Anime, Atlas, let's see what else is, Gumi, Anime Revolution, Bandai Namco, Pony Canyon, Daisuki.net, Good Smile Company. The list goes on. For those who are Funimation, like there's an entire picture of like who's gonna be up in the front and who's gonna be in the back, and you can go from there. I don't personally like how exactly the way it's set up, but it's been like this for years, so I'm just preaching to the choir. But it's
They call it tried and true.
yeah. So like it's like if you're a newcomer to Anime Expo, just bring lots of cash and just kind of just be very wary of where you want to spend your money at, because the good stuff might be in the artist alley, but not to say it's everywhere else.
Now
And as a
the good news is though, if you're only going to like these conventions to go buy stuff, they do offer an exhibit hall only pass.
Do they? I heard they did. I heard they did away with that.
Exhibit hall opens up at 4 p.m. to the public.
No, they did away with that this year.
Oh, they got rid of it this year?
Yeah,
they
there
announced
was
that it was going to happen again.
crowding
Both that-
issues.
Both
Lying
that and
bastards.
So both the discounted exhibit hall only pass and the free entry after such and such hour have now been abolished.
As far as I know, that's not going forward.
Let's see what's going on.
it makes sense too because like I can't remember. I mean, like I remember when it happened. I was at home, but I remember people saying that it just got way too crowded when they did that idea.
Well, last year was kind of a breaking point, depending on who you ask. We know that on Saturday they stopped selling badges for a while. Whether or not that has to do with Anime Expo instituting a cap, or whether or not it has to do with a fire marshal saying "stop this madness," depends on who you ask, frankly. But supposedly part of that is why things have increased in price this year to the point where on-site registration is not only cash only, but it's $115.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah.
Which
Definitely.
is insane. When well, how much was their premium pass going for?
$220 during the first sale, or $225, and the latest round was $275.
So it's $100 off if you're going to be on-site registration from getting the premium.
Yeah, roughly, yeah.
Yeah,
That's insane.
definitely.
It's also cash only, though, and when you think about how quietly that particular announcement came out, unless you're really in the know, you're not going to understand if you show up for registration with a card and then they tell you you can't do that.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah, and I was going to say, I feel like I should do a disclaimer, because we're not sitting here trying to find reasons to poo-poo the con, but there has been a list of stuff that's come up that needs addressing.
Right.
We're not trying to find reasons, but they're giving us reasons.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like we're going through kind of what, because our prior experiences from going to Anime Expo, like we had our moments of fun, but like at the same time we had a good part of it that was not fun. And not only just not only on the press side, just like everything else. And the thing about it is that Anime Expo is still the most attended convention in the U.S., and there's still tons and tons of people like that come and attend.
Wait, time out.
No.
You need to put a modifier on that.
Okay.
The anime
It's an
convention.
Anime dedicated convention, and
Okay.
it's not even
Yeah.
dedicated to anime anymore.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, I'll put a
Yeah.
asterisk on that.
There's bigger conventions in both the U.S. and Canada than Anime Expo. They're just in different subjects.
Right.
San Diego Comic Con.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Done.
Yeah. I will say though, like, last year when I was there, I actually did really enjoy their West Hall Entertainment Hall, where all the video games were at. It was pretty spacious. I like to have their own cosplay repair center area for people who need to repair cosplays or just want to relax and chill. They had like even like small fitting rooms to fix and do whatever.
Yeah, but what we know is that some of that has changed already as well. I think tabletop and board gaming has been moved to Kensha Hall underneath the South Hall. The ticketing area to get autograph tickets is in West Hall. However, you have to line up in South Hall to line up for the actual autograph. So to get to get an autograph, you got to rush your ass over to the West Hall, get a ticket, rush back to the South Hall, and line the frick up.
So school. Okay. Yeah.
Not school. I mean, I'm talking 4:05 at rush hour.
No, I mean like you know, like, cause like sometimes at like in college and high school, like they'll put classes where it's on the opposite end of the school and you have 5 to 10 minutes to get to it. I'm kind of comparing that same feeling to this, so.
It's one of those cases where I know they finally rented the entirety of the Los Angeles Convention Center, which is something we've been talking about for years. However, to make a system where you're forcing someone to walk the length of it twice in order to get something done just creates more traffic issues.
Right, and even if that person decides, you know, if he or she says yes, I'm gonna go do this, or halfway through it's like, you know what, I'm not gonna even bother. You know, it's less money for whoever, and that's not, it doesn't bode well for Anime Expo in terms of, like, if you're going
right, but you still cross the convention center just to get halfway to decide to give up, and now you got to go back no matter what you do.
Agreed. I'm kind of liking the fact that Bandai Namco is in a gaming hall. They have their own little area for free gaming. So I'm not quite sure what exactly that's all about. Other than my guess is like they have their own area for Bandai Namco only games. I think it's here stage 2, so that's cool.
Yeah, they're gonna show some stuff off.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, like definitely exhibit hall. Definitely, like, I think that some of the stuff that they're trying to do, they're bringing back the cosplay sets, the backgrounds in the Western Entertainment Hall. But the problem with that is that here's the thing. Now, last year when I saw this, people were in line to use the background for some of these things, and I feel that was like,
Yeah, up to 25 minutes. I mean,
yeah, it's like I felt like the point of using these, I get where the idea is coming from. I get that, you know, trying to do a photo shoot around the convention can be hard at times, and this, you know, helps it a little bit, but it doesn't, because if you're taking a photo of a cosplayer in that, you know, in the background, and say other photographers are doing the same thing with other cosplayers, then you're gonna get the cosplayer in the same background for other pictures that people are using. Not to say it's bad, but I'm just saying like it lacks creativity, you know.
But you
There's-
no longer have that issue where people are going to be in line. Those backdrops within most of the day during the convention are by appointment.
Are they by appointment?
Yes.
Wow.
You have
Oh,
to
even
actually
better.
go sign up to be able to be part of it. Like
Well,
go and
I guess that prevents chaos
Oh my
and
God.
crowding.
Wow.
well,
Wow.
that goes with another issue that we've heard in that cosplay gatherings are not allowed inside or on LACC premises. Well, not premises, just inside. They're not allowed inside at
not
all
allowed inside the
anymore.
convention hall. Yeah, because
Yeah.
they're getting too big.
Not just getting too big, but there's still traffic issues, and it feels like Anime Expo doesn't quite know how to run these things. A lot of the places on the decks where the gatherings used to be are now where they put the lines,
So where are the
where they
gatherings?
put lines of people waiting for stuff.
So are the gatherings? Are they putting them in now? Like, are they still in the same locations outside, or?
Supposedly
Nope.
they're still in the same locations outside.
For the most part.
However, 3 of the 8 locations they mentioned as to where the gatherings can take place, Los Angeles Convention Center staff, I watched them move gatherings that were in those places.
Yeah. That's, oh man, and there's only what, I know there's like 3 to 4 like areas and outside they often use for their gatherings, but like, man,
Two of the large staircases out back, I saw groups moved off there even though they weren't taking up the entirety of even half the staircase. They were just called a fire hazard and told to move. And then I saw another gathering outside next to the Staples Center that was told to move because the Staples Center staff didn't want anybody near it for some reason, even though there wasn't anything scheduled that day. So this whole thing is just, I'm regardless of what LA says, considering they signed Anime Expo this long-term contract, I've gotten the feeling the last few years they don't want us there.
yeah, they want our
Or-
money. That's what they want.
They want the taxpayers.
Well, here's the thing too. I'm thinking about. So if they're banning cosplay gatherings inside the convention center,
Yeah.
does this also mean they're banning also smaller gatherings in the exhibit hall? Because some companies last year were holding their own gatherings at their booth.
I believe that's different.
Is that
Yeah,
something-
if it's that's technically an exhibitor event, that's
Yeah.
something else entirely.
So that's not so. What we're trying to say is fan ran, like attendee ran cosplay gatherings are forbidden in the convention center, but exhibitors are free to do whatever the heck they want, as long as it's within their own booth and not intruding anyone else's.
True. Okay, I see what you're saying. But my thing is that what if the amount of people that come for that gathering is too huge or too big? In that.
They won't care because those people bring in money.
Yeah, as much as they try and run traffic in the lobbies and in the hallways, they really don't do much for traffic inside the dealers hall.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Have you ever been in that dealer's hall? It's almost
I've-
as bad as San Diego Comic-Con.
I'd say it's worse.
Oh.
I would really
I
say
think it
it's wor-
depends on which portion you're in. Like, if you're in the front area where all the big dealers are, yeah, it's a hell of a lot worse. But if you go into, like, the back area, it's pretty open.
I have had nightmares trying to get through there. Comic-Con may be just as crowded as Anime Expo, but at least Comic-Con has a bunch of volunteers standing there saying you can't just take up the middle of the aisle, you need to keep moving. Anime Expo doesn't have that. They just let people go where the frick ever. As long as you're not trying to get through a restricted door or backstage, they just don't really seem to do much about it.
So I just popped up. They have a gathering location map in terms of like where some of the gatherings are happening. So there's a few gatherings that are in front of the convention center. There's like
That's going to be awful.
yeah, there's like 4 in the front. That's listed on here. There's one like in the back of the Staples Center. I see.
Yeah, there's a small plaza out there between West Hall and the Staples Center where stuff has happened, and the best you could do out there as far as tiered are these 3 short, and I mean short stairs.
Mm-hmm. But But there's another one that's even further back than that, like towards. Let's see. It's like towards.
Oh, you mean where those stone half columns are?
It's in between the Staples Center and the Microsoft Theater.
Yeah, that would be the other plaza where the bronze statues are.
Mm-hmm. And then there's another one, I believe. Actually, this one might be new. Actually. No, it isn't. Never mind. Okay. So yeah, I mean, like, it's all the gatherings I've seen so far are outside. I see no inside of anything. So, which, you know, depending on what gathering it is, and depending on what costume you're wearing, like, either you're gonna be really, you know, good, like you're gonna be wearing something that's very air breathable, or you're gonna be dying in some sort of armor or cosplay, or you're in something else that's fully covered.
Yeah, you may be the first one boiled in a senketsu.
Yeah. Which brings me to my next advice for everybody who is listening to this. For your cosplays, for this AX, you can wear whatever you want, but my advice is wear something that's at least breathable for outside, because it gets hot. Yeah.
And it's July in Southern California. The weather, for the most part, does not screw around.
Yes.
Actually, I've been checking the 10-day forecast, and the heat we've had in Southern California is going to stay very consistent through the days of Anime Expo. Almost zero humidity. Temperatures in downtown LA are going to be in the low 80s, which for that area is not great because of the reflective nature of the buildings.
Low 80 still means like nearly 100.
Yeah, and also almost no wind to speak of.
Fun.
Like, there was only one odd year where it was actually not that warm, and that was like 2013. That was the odd time.
That was with 40% humidity, which for around here is a pressure cooker.
What's the temperature schedule looking like for AX?
That's what I just said.
No, like specifically, like, you know, degrees, like numbers.
Just like, you want specific numbers?
Yeah.
Yeah, he wants me to be frickin' Al Roker or something.
I'm just, I mean, I know it's gonna be hot, but I want to know how hot.
Well, like I said, I've been checking the last few days, and the forecast has stayed very consistent, unfortunately. Hang on, I'm pulling up the 10-day right now. Okay, for example, here we go. For this, actually, they've changed it a bit. The Los Angeles forecast is ratcheted down a little. Wednesday's supposed to be 82 degrees, Thursday 79 degrees, Friday 77 degrees, Saturday 77 degrees. I wonder if that's going to keep up with the monsoonal moisture they keep saying is on its way. Sunday's going to be 79 degrees.
Okay, so it's manageable. Okay, it's not as...
Well, no, monsoonal moisture doesn't mean rain. Monsoonal moisture means hot, sticky.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Because even though these numbers may say 79, 77, you bring up that moisture, which is just going to hang in the air. That means it'll feel
more like 80-something or 80.
It'll feel like 80-something, and all the nerds that are sticky may not be just because they haven't bathed, but either way, it's going to bring out that smell.
Not with that hentai festival going on.
That's a whole different issue.
So there's a number of minor problems that could really poke up that weekend, and now there's also a 10% chance of precipitation, which means that it's going to be humid.
That's always fun, man. I hate. So here's the thing with heat. I can do a dry heat. Give me dry heat any time of the day. When it comes to humid like heat, I cannot. Like I suffered that before in the Washington D.C. once, and that was not fun. So the other thing I want to bring up, because this is what we talked about last year, and I'm not sure if it's being headed by third party again this year, was the Anime Expo dance, or the quote unquote dance / rave that's happening.
I haven't heard of... Club Cosplay usually does most of the convention dances I've heard of, but I have not seen their stamp on Anime Expo.
AX Dance Idols are who do the dances here.
Okay.
Oh, right. Good point. Yeah.
Yeah, I know that they're doing it. They always bring go-go dancers along as well. Mm-hmm. So, I guess eye candy? I don't know. But yeah, I know they are going to be here, and they're going to be running all the dances. One thing to keep in mind, AX Dance Idols reserves the right to refuse service to anybody that wants to go in for any reason whatsoever, and the Anime Expo staff can do nothing about it.
Yeah, that is true. That's something that I remember hearing a lot from people from last year. And there were issues last year that there was no water in the Anime Expo dance last year.
No, but you could buy several mixed drinks.
Yeah.
Which is
weird.
sort of.
Yeah.
That was actually in the 21. That was in the Lounge 21, which is totally different than the X Dance Idol stuff.
Yeah, the Lounge 21 thing was actually pretty cool. I enjoyed myself in Lounge 21. It was really chill. So actually, at the Sup Anime Expo, that was one of the highlights for me from last year. It was really chill. People were they were drinking, but they were hanging out and they were just talking to one another, and it was pretty cool. But with the Anime Expo dance, I heard there was no water in there. I heard that people were getting kicked out for various reasons, and that when they complained to Anime Expo staff, they couldn't do anything about it because it was handled by a third party.
Yep. And somewhere in the contract, the X Idols, the X Dance Idols had it written in that they have 100% control.
Yeah. So yeah, it's you go
Shit.
to your own discussion. You can go and have fun and dance in the Anime Expo dance party / rave, but
Honestly, my suggestion: if you want to go to a dance, and you're 21, just go to the one that Cosplay Deviants are putting on.
oh right, they're doing their own shindig.
The Crystal Tokyo dance.
Yes, that'll be a much better dance. I'm 100% sure. I've had issues with the X Dance Idols. They denied me entry because I had a camera.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that.
So you'll probably have a better time if you just go to the one that's for the 21 and up. If you're not 21 and up, go to bed.
So tell me more about that. So I remember hearing that Coffee Divas is having their own dance thing at Anime Expo. Is it at the convention center or is it somewhere else?
It's in Club 21.
Oh, it's in Club 21. Okay, nice.
Yeah, so
awesome.
they're gonna have drinks there that you can purchase.
Cool.
Cash only bar, I think.
Yes, cash only. Cool. Awesome. Yeah, that's sick. And it fits because everything else wise in that room fits with everything, booze and having fun and whatnot. So yeah, definitely.
You get to meet a bunch of the Cosplay Deviants who are going to be attending. I mean, it should be fun.
Oh yeah.
Clean your hands before you shake.
Don't be one of those guys. We all know who you are, or girls. I know there's some of you girls out there that are the same way.
Yeah.
Some.
Don't be like that. Okay, maybe more than some, but the point stands. Don't be like that. Come on.
And that would be your vice number 3 in this podcast.
You know better than that.
Yes, definitely. So, I was gonna say, as I kind of explore more throughout the Anime Expo website to talk about stuff. So here's the thing that caught me off guard because when they were announcing some of the special guests. Okay, I had to look back and see exactly how this happened, but I did not know that the band Kiss collaborated with this Japanese band, and they did a song together, and it was animated by one of the guys at Trigger, who made Kill la Kill, and
Yeah, the Japanese version of that single, the one where Momoro Clover Z is singing,
Yeah.
I like that a lot. The one where it's in English, Samurai Sun, the one where Kiss is taking the lead,
Yeah.
not as much of a fan.
Yeah, the thing, I was kind of blindsided because I was like, I've never heard Kiss do anything for a while, and then I saw this, what, really? Whoa, crazy.
Well, that just proves you don't listen to my show.
Good point. I
Shots fired.
yeah, I need to listen to your show more. But yeah, that was crazy. I did not realize the fact that they did a thing together, and then when I saw that they're coming to AX, it's like, if I was going to AX, I would buy a ticket to go see that. Just for one, the odd, just kind of the odd matchup between the two. But the second thing I would say is it's Kiss. It's I'll go see that.
Yeah, but here's the real question though: Are they is Kiss gonna do one song where they're not really? I mean, it's not one of their songs. If you're going to this thing to see Kiss, you're going for the wrong reason.
Good point. I kind of wonder,
There's also only 2 of the members as well.
Yeah, only Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley are actually involved in the concert. The rest of the members of Kiss may appear to do signings, but they're not performing.
Interesting.
So it's not even really a Kiss concert. It's
No.
Not
Kiss
by any
will
stretch.
have to sort of be around.
They
Maybe you'll
explicitly say Momohiro Clover.
Does no one find the comedy that a bunch of schoolgirls are about to perform a concert with a bunch of dirty old men?
Oh, it's. I just imagine the accusations that are going to be going around.
Oh yeah, I mean definitely. It's funny that you mention it right now. But yeah, it's something that I just didn't really realize. Like, oh, you're right. I'm still astounded at the fact that this thing happened. Like, don't get me wrong. There has been times where there've been multiple artists who did collaborate with Japan with some anime stuff. Like Pharrell Williams did that song recently in his entire music video, which is like a whole homage to anime and JRPGs. But it's like, it's just...
That's not the one where he had to pay Marvin Gaye's family, is it?
No, that's not the one.
Okay.
It's a song, Get Girl. It's just the one I'm talking about. But no, it's just crazy just kind of see this happen out of the blue. And I was like, well, that's interesting and cool, and I guess, I don't know. Kind of weirded out by that. But yeah, in terms of anything else wise, Anime Expo wise, so there are several panels that are interesting. I mean, for everybody who are going for the first time, definitely go to the ones that you can afford to go. I mean afford. I mean like have time to go and not try to tire yourself out in the first or second day. So there definitely are shows that there definitely are some panels that are pretty cool to go to.
One thing to mention about panels and events in general with Anime Expo is that you pretty much need to line up beforehand to go to any of these. So don't try to go from one panel to like the next one that comes up in 30 minutes away. Like, that's not going to really work out unless is there maybe a premium fan, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you actually shelled out money for one of the ticketed things, then you actually have time to stand around.
Yeah, definitely.
So, I actually just ran across something, just simply because my day job used to be with this company. If you've ever heard of the video game Drift Girls, give you a brief overview of it. It's basically a racing dating sim on Android and iOS.
Is that by Voltaic?
No, it's by Toast and Black Pick, I think.
Oh.
Anyways, they actually on their Facebook page just announced that they're going to be at Anime Expo. So yeah, it might be interesting to go by, check it out. Last I heard, I don't know if things have changed since I left that company, but they were talking about having some cosplayers at the booth as well. If you even just Google this game, you're gonna see what these girls will be wearing. You're probably gonna want to go. I'm just gonna leave it at that. You can use your imagination from there.
Oh boy.
Yeah, definitely. And there's one thing that's interesting. There's one thing that I really enjoyed my time last year at some of the panels is that some of the panels were really cool and just always chilling for the most part. It's always fun to go to the Paco panels because they're always hilarious to go and sit in and laugh about whatever hentai they're showing, or whatever stories that they're talking about in the past. I think the other suggestion I have is like, if you're really into Mega Man, I suggest go and check out the panel for Keiji Inufine, because he's going to be there this year, talking about probably more about Mighty Number 9, but like, probably his prior work. So if you're really into Mega Man, I suggest, checking him out. Yeah, there's definitely other panels as well that is whatever interest you may have. Although, I think the one thing, and I understand if you want to go do this because, you're tired or, you want to watch it, or that's that person. But I never, for myself, I never found the reason to go watch anime at an anime convention. Like, I unless it's like at a panel and they happen to show some, something that was a sneak peek at the next season or something. Like, for me, like, watching anime at an anime convention just does not seem to fit with me. I don't know why. I might be weird.
Yeah, maybe it's an odd premiere. Maybe.
Well, good news. You don't have to watch it at the convention. You didn't hear about where the anime viewing rooms are?
No, where are they being
They're
held
all
at?
like in JW. JW Marriott.
Yeah, think where, as far as distance, think about how Fanime removed all their panel rooms outside the convention. Same concept.
Yes,
At least JW Marriott is a shorter walk away though.
good point.
Sort of.
Sort of.
Sort of, because actually when you go dodging through all the stuff you have to do to get there, it's pretty comparable, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, there's like, from what I remember, there's like no real street crossing.
There is a street crossing. You have to cross a street. You have to cross at least one street, and there is no direct route between the JW and the LA Convention Center, which means you got to move around a bit.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, interesting. I kind of wonder if they're going to keep going this direction in terms of having all the panels and events in one specific building, kind of like how Anime is set up right now. It would be interesting to see if they did that, but I'm not quite sure if they would go that far. But I wouldn't put it past them. I think the other things I would say is that for people who are attending the show and are bored at any given
Hydration.
Yes.
Water and sun coverage.
Yes.
Essential.
Yes. Don't depend on Anime Expo or the convention center to give you water because
The convention center will give it to you. It'll be $5 for a small bottle.
yeah. That's the one thing.
Yeah.
That's another advice. Don't buy any food or drinks at the convention center because they will charge you very high.
Unless you're
up the rear
starving
end.
or it's a medical issue or something like that, don't bother.
Yeah, definitely.
They'll charge you up the rear end.
Pretty much.
My personal standpoint is not even to use the food trucks. I mean, I understand their businesses and I understand that they're out there working, but they're also paying fees to the company that runs the cafeteria for the convention center. So their prices go up $2 to $3 per dish. And frankly, if it's going to be the same amount of money at a food truck and in a place I can sit down with air conditioning, I'm going to go sit down.
Yeah.
Well, the food trucks are usually pretty reasonable. Or they were last year. A couple of the ones that are really popular, like the boba truck, was ridiculously expensive. Like, you might as well have just gotten in a cab and have the cab take you to a restaurant and eat in the restaurant.
Yeah, my thing, though, is I'm trying to lose weight, and food truck food, no matter how tasty it is generally not as nutritious as I need, so I tend to skip them.
It's to each their own for sure. I think the interesting thing about it is that for me last year, like the food trucks were, and I think it was like the year prior I went to Anime Expo. It's like I felt like that was a godsend just because like it was cheap. You know, I can get like a quick snack. You know, something to get me throughout the day. Depending on what time of day it is, or maybe a line or not. But there were definitely some food trucks from last year that I went to that were freaking expensive and like defeats the purpose of being out there. Versus you just get, you know, it's the same price for the food inside the convention center. Or for
Interesting
cheaper.
side note. There is a Denny's nearby. I mean, not super nearby, but it's within you can walk there kind of distance.
Have fun. if you
Denny's
can't get a
Denny's
table there.
all-you-can-eat pancakes usually lines up right alongside Anime Expo.
Nice.
I can't go there. Their food has been consistently awful.
Oh yeah, it's pretty
And
terrible.
also,
But
think about this. It's Denny's and a very popular convention
Well,
with a lot of
no,
people trying to cut-ins.
it's a Denny's. It's not used to that kind of traffic. So by day two,
Yeah.
usually the staff is stressed, the kitchen is stressed, and the food, you feel that stress in everything that's going on.
Yes.
You know, if you go there past day two, you're really, it's not worth the money, the wait, or the hassle.
and a lot of the times there is a fairly long wait. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And
You know, it.
Now, luckily, downtown LA has plenty of things to go to.
You know what? My best advice for food in this area is not to depend on the local area anymore. Because
Yeah.
as much as they try, they're not ready. My best suggestion, and it's going to sound weird, plan deliveries. Find companies that'll deliver to this square area and then just order out.
There's one place that doesn't usually get super busy, and it's Johnny Rockets. They get busy, but not to the point where it's unreasonable. And especially if you go like during lunch,
Wait, what Johnny Rockets?
over across from the Westin.
Across from the west. Oh, that place also closes on the weekends, though.
They're usually open.
The last few times I stayed at the Westin, they were closed Saturday, Sunday. They're usually only open for the daytime hours for the local businesses.
Because I've been there during the weekend portion of it, and they've been open. I think they close early, but
Yeah,
Okay, might be early.
they've never been available for me. It's like the mall, 505 Flower, next to the Westin. 90% of the businesses in there are closed during Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah,
mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. That's cool.
it's an unfortunate fact.
You think that's cool? I think that's horrible.
That's an unfortunate fact.
So yeah, definitely when it comes
Well, I mean-
when it comes to food, I think our best suggestion is maybe just bring your own food, like kind of buy
Yeah,
buy food.
Hack up on snacks and all that stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but also pack like you're not going to see your hotel room, because if you have to make multiple trips back and forth, you're going to waste a lot of your day.
Yeah.
Especially if you're further away from the convention center, like the Western Bond Adventure or Millennium Biltmore or something.
I actually recommend that regardless of where you're staying, because no matter what you're doing, you're either taking a shuttle ride or you're taking a minimum of a 10-minute walk to get back to the nearest hotels.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you had to take a shuttle, because with a shuttle, there's a shuttle travel time, guys. You have to take into account.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's much more so if you are at a further hotel.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Yeah. I lost train of thought. But yeah, definitely when it comes when it comes to food, definitely just be smart about what you buy. Or if you're gonna bring your own food, I suggest doing that as well. That's probably the better option in my opinion.
Plan accordingly.
Yes. Like everything else, like events wise, panel wise, like everything at Anime Expo. Like if there's something you're into, it will be there in some shape or form, which is great because there's just tons of panels, tons of events you can check out.
Well, if it's generally anime related, it's not like I've seen a lot of Firefly panels in Anime Expo.
Yeah, anime or Japanese popular media related.
Definitely, and like some video game companies will be there as well. Arxis Games are going to be there showing off, Guilty Gear and Blaze Blue and other games they have there. NIS America are going to come and show off more to Sky 5. So at these panels, they actually do show some sneak peeks at some of their future projects, and kind of things that they're working on, which is cool. It's like maybe the closest thing to like E3 in a way. Like I
wouldn't compare this to
we're stretching it right now.
I know. I'm just saying, like, this is like maybe the closest thing for somebody who's not in the press, like, and wants to have that kind of E3 feel. Like, it is the closest thing possibly.
No, not even close.
No.
Evo is more of an E3-like event than Anime Expo.
I would agree with that.
Evo is a fighting game competition convention, basically.
Yeah, E3 is like a multimedia experience where companies are showing off their best and brightest to entice people to buy. Anime Expo is a trade show where companies have a chance to show off stuff, but for the most part, you're not going to find a whole lot of exclusives or big news events that happen. A lot of it is retelling. You're not even going to find as many reveals and events as you're going to find at Comic-Con and Anime Expo.
Right, for sure. I will say two things, though. I'm looking through this list of panels and events that are happening. One, you guys should definitely check out, because one of the people in this room or in this podcast is in it. Definitely check out the Cosplay Wrestling Federation panel.
You son of a bitch.
So the interesting thing about this panel is like this is an 18+ event this time around compared to last year's TWF.
Having actual violence.
Well, it wasn't that. I think it's just language.
There's never been violence at one of these things. It just means that now we can actually drop the occasional F-bomb.
Yeah. And it's going to be Saturday, July 4th, 8:15 p.m. to 10:50 p.m. I swear, there better be somebody dressed up as Captain America or something patriotic in that CWF panel, because that'd be great.
Hasn't happened yet.
Oh, man. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, in that respect, I actually took in most of the parts of my costume to my dry cleaner for cleaning on Tuesday. Mm-hmm. And you should have seen the look on his face as he starts going through the individual pieces of my costume, and he keeps looking between it and me as if to say, "Are you some amateur pimp or something? What's your problem, dude?"
That's great. That's awesome. I was gonna say,
I want to jump in right there 1 second. If you've never seen Jeremy's outfit, you would totally understand why that statement makes sense. He does look like he could be a pimp.
Yeah, at Fanime, he pulled it off pretty well. So I'm not gonna lie. So, yeah, if you guys want to check it out and see what we're talking about, go to that panel. So, and I'm not sure if these are confirmed numbers, but like, people, on the Anime Expo website, they would put down like they're interested in going. So far for this panel, like 75 people are interested in going to this panel. So, which is interesting compared to last year. I kind of wonder if it's in the same place as last year, actually, in terms of.
I don't know. I haven't looked it up compared to the map. I'm almost afraid to, because there's a lot of changes this year compared to last year, and I don't want to pre-assume anything.
Right, definitely. Actually, I'm looking at it right now. It's going to be at the Workshops 2 room. So
Workshops too. That sounds very similar to last year.
it might be in the same room actually. Oh no, it's not. It's interesting. Or it might be. I don't know. Oh, it might be actually. I'm kind of looking through it. I hate the fact that on the website, like when I expand, like it just fills up the entire screen. And I had to use the scrolling mouse wheel to maneuver, and it's just everything's big.
Yeah.
So kind of a minor thing that really get angry about. God damn it. So yeah, I suggest going to check out that panel for sure. And then there was one other thing I was gonna say to go check out, but lost train of thought. So
The Hentai Festival.
yeah.
Everything comes back to hentai in the end.
Oh yeah, that's because we're men. So yeah, that just comes naturally.
Manly men
I don't
watch
think it has anything to
hentai.
do with being men and everything to do with being nerds.
Yeah, that's true. It's very true.
Real nerds watch hentai.
I think yeah, like the only other thing I would suggest maybe to go check out, and it's only because of my personal interest in it, is that if you're a fan of Skullgirls, Lab Zero is going to be there, and apparently they're making a big announcement at Anime Expo. So they're gonna also try and stream it as well. I'm not sure if that's gonna happen, but if it does, that'd be cool. But yeah, definitely check that out. It's usually pretty fun to go in. It's usually pretty big amount of people that go and check it out and have fun. So for sure. But outside of that, again, just kind of pick whatever panels and events you want to check out, and take all our advice. You know, either take advice or don't. It's your choice.
You know, I can say, though, be careful walking around the local area. The LA Convention Center and how separated it is from everything can leave you exposed if you're walking around in the evening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, walk in groups if you can.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. It's just one thing that we've learned over the years is that when it comes to the conventions, like you, me, everybody else in this podcast, everybody that goes to conventions, we know that, you know, be respectful, you know, cosplay isn't consent, and just, you know, make sure that you use your common sense. To people outside the convention, like when they see, you know, somebody either dressed very scantily clad or dressed up in a way where they're kind of weirded out, like they don't know. So it's be cautious is what we're saying. Definitely make sure that you're always secured at all times. So I just remember the one last thing I was going to bring up actually, which is I just find it weird. So I'm not sure if you guys saw this, but like Anime Expo was kind of out there saying, like, Hollywood, please come to Anime Expo and check out.
Oh, that thing.
Yeah, like, is that a way for them to say, like, have Hollywood come to our convention so that you may generate ideas to make the next movie based on an anime? Because I remember.
No, it's them trying to reach out to become more like San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically that.
That makes
As
sense.
much as they keep saying the two should not be compared, they make an awful lot of active comparisons on their own.
Yeah, it's Anime Expo is trying to move to be more like San Diego Comic-Con, because what has San Diego Comic-Con become? It's gone from it's a convention for comic book fans to a industry extravaganza, basically. I mean, you basically have these stars that come in and basically they're given the red carpet treatment. You have booths from Sci-Fi Channel. I mean, they don't do anything with comics. Sci-Fi Channel is not a comic producer of any sort. There's no reason for them to have a giant booth that takes up a huge amount of space.
Mm-hmm.
But that's part of San Diego's appeal, though, is that it's morphed into not just a comic book convention. It's more of a just general nerd convention these days. Or nerd trade show would be more likely.
Exactly.
You know,
so I think Anime Expo is trying to move towards that direction so that
Trying
they
to make
can
it more
get that
mainstream
money.
and all.
That's true.
Not even mainstream. Mainstream would imply they want something outside nerd culture. They don't.
Yeah.
They just want more aspects of nerd culture.
Which, here's the thing, like, if they want to become more like San Diego Comic-Con in that aspect, I think in the long run, like, Anime Expo wouldn't be called Anime Expo anymore. I mean, like, it could, but, like, the anime would not be the main part of it as it used to be if it's going in that direction. Like, if you imagine, because, like, we saw I named off some of the companies that are already going to be there that represent other things outside of anime. Hulu, there's some other companies that were there that are games, which games do still pertain within our realm, but in terms of like relating to the anime industry, it does and it doesn't, depending on what game they're showing off. So like I don't. If they're trying to be more like San Diego Comic-Con, like I don't think that's specifically the right way to do what they're trying to do. But if they're trying to draw in like more outside different groups in terms of like different nerd cultures into Anime Expo, I'm not quite sure that will work out either. It could, but I don't know how.
But does this fit into the SPJ's mission as a non-profit who's supposed to be all about the promotion of Japanese animation if they move in this direction?
Company. No, I'm going to stop right there. They are a profit-driven company.
Agreed.
Do not tell me otherwise. You cannot convince me otherwise. Look at everything they have done to nickel and dime their youth. The people.
That's why I said
convention.
if. When I rattled off that list of things you have to pay for, I didn't mention the processing fees that are tacked onto each and every one of those that are not in those prices.
No, they are not a non-profit. They've been non-profit for years.
Yeah, they say they're non-profit, but they're not. But
What's your anger?
No, but here's the thing too. Like, it's a comparison. Like, people don't want to make this comparison, but the reality, the fact that it is, like, if you compare San Diego Comic-Con to Anime Expo is charging for some events at prices where it's. I think in some cases
it's cost prohibitive.
Yeah, pretty much. Compared to the San Diego Comic-Con, while there are price events, they're actually affordable. They're not too outlandish. And the entire city.
Wait. What are you talking about?
I'm talking about like for like comparing Comic-Con and Anime Expo in terms of like price.
There's a bit of a difference. Comic-Con doesn't charge for any extra events. You buy a badge, you got access to everything if you're willing to wait in line for it. They don't have any extra cost for their panels. They don't have any extra cost for the one or two musical things that's going on. They don't have extra cost for their entertainment halls. They don't have extra cost for the fact that they've rented out part of the library and turned it into an art gallery. The other stuff going on that cost stuff is all third-party stuff that's grown up around Comic-Con.
Right.
And it's all off-site.
Yeah. That's right. I totally was trying to say that, but what was I gonna say? Okay.
With Comic-Con, you pay one price for a badge, and if you have the patience to try to get into it, you can get into it.
Right.
It may take a day of waiting in line depending on what panel it is, honestly. But that's turning in the same direction Anime Expo is, yet Anime Expo wants to charge you an extra $35 so you can get into this panel you're waiting in line for now.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, like, and we've been hearing some rumors as well that AX staff are still trying to find staff to help with Anime Expo for this year. And these are rumors, so we can't really confirm or deny if they're true or not. But
it's not our job to. It's theirs.
Yeah, it's theirs. So if it's true or not, like it's all going to depend on like how people are going to perceive the entire event. Like everybody's different. Like every person who goes to Anime Expo and a convention will have a different experience. Not one is all the same. But a good number of people who do complain about it, that are not just like a few, then you raise some issues, or you ask some questions. Whether this is going to happen this year, who knows? We'll see. But it's more or less we're gonna go down there and get our hands dirty and find out how we enjoy our experiences at this year's Anime Expo. And it will definitely be there for sure. So there you have it. Our thoughts and advice and everything of Anime Expo, whether it be good or bad, although in this case 60% bad, and the rest of
Not
it.
a good forecast.
Yeah. So.
To sum it up, don't visit an ATM on site. Bring cash by the time you arrive. Pack like a sojourner, like you don't have a room for the day. Make sure you bring water, snacks, and a couple other things just in case you need to keep your time occupied waiting in line. And if you're trying to do one of the special events, you need to get those tickets in advance.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And for some, it might already be too late at this point. So, very sorry.
Yeah, actually, a lot of them might be too late.
Yeah, by the time...
Like, if you're not there day zero to buy some of these tickets, if they're available, they're probably gone.
Yeah, so if you're listening to this podcast, like, you may be ready out of luck when it comes to these tickets. Not to say there is not a chance, but check it out anyways. But if you're listening to this podcast, just be ready to go and have fun at Anime Expo in some sort of fashion. And yeah, so before we go, Jeremy, where can I find you on the internet?
I have a weekly comic book related podcast called The Rollin' 20s. We are about to record our 100th show this weekend, which is going to be a Comic-Con pregame show. I am on cosplay.com under the name Freight. I'm on Twitter at The Rolling 20s. And yeah, pretty soon I'm going to be at Anime Expo in 5 days here. And then in 12 days I'm going to be in San Diego for Comic-Con.
Fun.
Mm-hmm.
Are you kidding? When I heard that next year's Comic-Con is not only going to be in San Diego, but is separated by Anime Expo by 3 weeks, I let out an exhale, man. I'm like, I need that separation. I need time between this shit.
Yeah, it was. I saw that.
I feel.
I saw that this year, and I was like, one thing I was like, I'm so glad I'm not going to Anime Expo this year, because like if I tried to do back to back Anime Expo and Comic Con, I don't know. I fear for Jeremy, but man, I don't know if my body would take it.
Thanks.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Rin, where can they find you on the internet?
Besides being made fun of on a certain website that we may or may not speak of in here,
Yes.
that would be.
Whoa, what?
They
don't see you on
say
a website?
they say it's an American clone of the Japanese 2 channel. Anyway, you can find me on
I
Twitter.
missed the story.
You can find me on Twitter under Ring Du Law, as well as Cobalt Tempest on cosplay.com. I go by Ring Du Law on World Cosplay, Curacos, and where else do I go by? DeviantArt. And then I also have a Facebook page where I do put up cosplay and photography stuff as you're in. So yeah, find me on all those places. Check out my cosplay work and all.
Awesome. Alex, where can they find you on the internet?
His wanted poster is
best
on the
place to find
FBI.com.
The misunderstanding, and I'm getting it cleared up eventually. Probably after statute of limitation expires. No, so the best place to find me would be on Facebook. It's just look up Capture Photography. It's Aperture with a C before it. You can also find me on Twitter at Capture Photog. And I am actually on Tumblr as well. You can just look up Capture Photography on Tumblr and find me there. To be honest, though, the best place to find me is on Facebook.
Cool. Awesome. And you can follow the work that we all do on our website at missionthoughtpodcast.com for the next couple weeks, maybe next, I guess for the next month, actually, to be honest. We'll be covering Anime Expo as well as San Diego Comic-Con. So we'll have a bunch of photos, videos, podcasts uploaded to our website and our YouTube channel, which is at youtube.com/missionstartpodcast1. And definitely subscribe there for future updates, for future videos. We'll be uploaded as fast as we can, our internet hotels can provide us. And you can follow me personally on Twitter, at DefectiveNaruto, if you wish to follow me there. So, from me, Jeremy, Alex, and Rin, we will see you guys in a few days. But we'll have in the meantime, I'll see you guys next time.